Hello, this is Albert Magnus, and I'm making a new series about a Nord who is going to be two-handed, conjuration, light armor, restoration. And I guess I'm motivated to make this series because I've been playing with a certain pattern and building characters, and not necessarily speed runs, but accelerated, I guess, runs, you might call them, where I just have a certain pattern of doing things, training certain things, and grinding out certain talents. And I got it down to where I can do most character builds within like 35 hours from the beginning to killing Alduin. And so I thought I'd share, I'd go through one of them with you, with this character, and we'll see how it goes. And this video won't have like role playing or anything like that, but and I'm not going to show you every minute of it. But I would like to do some basic things, and I'll just record where I'm talking and telling you something interesting. And then if there's some cool stuff, I'll show you that. Okay, so we'll start with the skills here. For this character, like I said, I want to have two-handed as my offense, and then conjuration for utility and defense, and then light armor to help really with the two-handed, because you want the power attack perks mostly. It doesn't give you a lot of defense. And then restoration. But for these first three skills, we're going to start with conjuration because that's super useful in the beginning. The spirit wolf is one of the most powerful things you can do early in the game, and reducing its spell cost makes it even more powerful. So we're going to do alteration. Since we're going to be a two-handed character, we're going to need to be able to see, because we're not going to be able to use torches, so candlelight will be coming in handy. And we're going to put some points into there later when we want to do magic resist talent perks, but we're going to put that off for a while. And then the last thing is lockpicking. And here in Helgen Keep, there's a few things you want to unlock, and you can't do it without lockpicking or a mod, or I guess there's probably some other way. But it's always worth taking lockpicking because you can it levels up as you go along without having to put a lot of perks in it, and adds to your overall level. Okay, so let's set up our spells real quick, and we'll put that on 2. Okay, let's go ahead and cast Candlelight. I don't have a lot of regen in at the moment, so I have to be careful about what I cast, but Hadvar's going to be doing most of the work, so we're just going to run around and try not to get killed.
That dragon is tearing up the whole keep.
Just give me a minute. I'm out of bed.
Hear that? Stormcloaks. Maybe we can reason with them.
Okay.
Hold up now.
What was that? If you want to die, so be it.
Here they come. Really don't want to fight him. Fortunately, I'm much faster than he is. And we'll just come around here.
You've already lost.
Have her take him. Come around the back. So, these staffs are pretty cool. They don't do much damage, but they do have some armor, I guess, expertise or armor penetration, and I'm not sure what it's called these days. It's very quick. So that's what you want in the beginning, because things don't have a lot of armor in the beginning. But I would like a steel sword instead, which is also fast but does a lot more damage, but lacks the armor penetration. But that's fine. So I've played this type of character with a Breton, and I found the Bretons, even though they have that nice magic resist, The lower health and stamina is kind of a burden in the beginning. You get squashed a lot by things, and I prefer the Nord starting stats. And the other thing is that the elemental resist of Nord sort of make up for it, especially the cold resist, because you fight undead a lot, and so super useful. And the shock resist is also good. And Nord magic regen is pretty. It's not terrible. So unlike orcs, which it is actually terrible.
See if you can find some potions that might come in handy.
I don't want that dagger. What am I doing? There you go. That's what I want. And let's set that up. All right. So the way I accelerate characters is doing something a little bit obvious. Is that you train alchemy, you gather alchemy ingredients, and then you train alchemy and speech at the same time. That levels you up, and then you use the money to train at trainers, and you do it in increments. So you do it every level, and that speeds everything up and allows you to level talents which take forever. That's a craftsman manual, by the way. We won't use it, but for some characters that's super useful, and it's not a little bit hidden. Allows you to
Done then, this way.
accelerate the development of certain skills, particularly offensive skills, which take forever to level. And that's really the trick. And then there's a few things that you grind out. Let's get a wolf going here. Should do that first. All right. And so a lot of the beginning will be me gathering alchemy ingredients, making a bunch of potions, then going and get training, and then back and forth, and building the character that way. So it's very safe to do that. It's good for if you're doing a Dead is Dead run, or if you just don't like dying all that much, and it really speeds up the whole process. Then you go through, and there's a few talents which you just have to do really repetitive things, and it's the fastest way to get them to level up. So you end up having to do that anyway, because you really can't level a lot of things to high level by just a normal playthrough. So I'll show you the way I do it,
See if you can get it open with some.
and see how you can use it in your own playthroughs. Okay, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to restart once I'm outside of Helgen. Okay, so I'm back.
My uncle's the black. I'm sure he'd help you out.
Yeah, I'm here with Hadvar outside of Helgen Keep,
We split up.
and we just saw Elduin fly over.
Couldn't have made it without your help today.
And I'm going to stay with Hadvar here because I want to talk to his uncle. But first, let me tell you my alchemy strategy for the early game, and really throughout the game. And that is that I have two groups of things that I focus on, meaning that two sets of potions that I make that are used exclusively for leveling. I don't use them for they don't do anything useful, but except for make they level you up, and then you can sell them for money. And there's two sort of set of alchemy ingredients that are interesting. So one I call the Blue Mountain Flower group, and so it's Blue Mountain Flower, obviously. And the second ingredient is either spider eggs or hanging moss, and the third ingredient is lavender or hawk feathers. And what all those ingredients have in common is that you can go around and just pick them up without having to fight anything, and you can pick up a lot of them. So it isn't like there's 10 of them in all of Skyrim. There's maybe 200 that are along the main routes. So you can grab a lot of them and make a lot of potions out of them. So along here while I'm walking, I'm picking up Blue Mountain Flower. And this thistle branch is part of the other group, which is called the garlic group. And so it's garlic, obviously. Salt is the second ingredient, and then either thistle branch or slaughterfish eggs as the third ingredients. And that's a much more profitable group. The potions are much more valuable, but I don't make them until I get the level 25 perk, which is the elixir perk. Then again, you can get hundreds of those ingredients. You have to buy the salt, which is the other reason you put it off. Well, for the most part, you have to buy the salt, and then it's worth much more. It's like 3 times as much. So if you just focus on those 2 sets, what I just said, then you don't have to worry about all the other ingredients and filling your bags with stuff that you're never going to use, or that is not very helpful. I do pick up some other ingredients like purple mountain flower and red flower because you can make stamina and magic potions there, but you don't need a whole lot of those. Okay, so we got to make a choice about guardian stones right now. We're going to pick the warrior path for this character. You can pick the mage path. That's a good path for it. But I want to get the lord stone for this character eventually, which is part of the warrior group. So this is the warrior stone, and it gives you some damage bonus. That's not so important right now. But eventually we want the magic resist bonus off of the lord stone, and also the armor bonus off the lord stone, because we're going to be light armored. And that will help both of that. So it's really an ideal standing stone for us. The mage bonus helps you obviously cast spells and trains. That's a good thing to have. But because this is a Nord, I want to help with his magic resist.
But until we get that,
And it'll be a good build. No build is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go to Riverwood here with Hadvar and talk to his uncle, and then when I'm done with that, I'll pick back up. Okay. Okay, so I just finished talking to Alvar, Hadvar's uncle, and this is a good time to talk about questing in Skyrim. So there are a lot of quests, and you have to know which ones. If you've played for any amount of time, you'll realize that questing isn't the way to level in Requiem. It's just, and a lot of the quests are way too hard for low-level characters, and you have access to them, and they'll just die a lot, and you won't get anything out of it. Also, there are a lot of quests which don't seem to have any valuable rewards, but a new player might not notice that a quest like this, where I'm just talking to his uncle, I'm now friendly with him, and I can now pick up all the low-level items in his house, which is actually pretty valuable. Now, some people go and steal everything they can get their hands on. I just look for the things that I'm going to use. So bread is something that I use a lot because you run out of stamina when running around. Cabbage I make stews out of. Leeks I make stews out of. Garlic, again, is a key alchemy component, and that's a big part of this game plan. So I want to get, the main thing I'm doing is picking up the garlic in here. And so just simple things like that allows you a lot of items. So you have to be sort of pay attention to the quests and realize which ones are going to get you in trouble, and which ones can be very valuable without any risk at all. And so hopefully with this walkthrough, I can help you with that a little bit. Of course, there's a huge number of quests here, and we're not going to get them all. But
make yourself at home.
let's see, I don't remember if there's anything back here. Okay, so we're going to do another quest at the end here. We're going to talk to Sven, and then Camilla Valerius, and then we'll talk to Sven again, and then we'll go in his house. So I'm gonna stop for a while because it's kind of tedious. Okay, so now that I've done Sven's quest, I can go into his house, and again, his items are I don't have to steal them, so they're all white. Or the font is white, so I can take those items. And so he has a lot of garlic in here. And there's Hilda. And that's mainly what I do. So you can do that quest for either Feindal or Sven. And Sven is better because of just better items in his house. Oops, I didn't want that, but we'll get rid of it later. Red apple we'll make stews out of. More bread. It's in the chest. So these, if you didn't know that, if you're in a chest and it's friendly, like you can take the low-level items, you can actually take this item too. Even though it says stealing, you can put it in your inventory. You won't be stealing. It's just a tip if you weren't aware. And if these hanging alchemy ingredients, if you're hidden, even if it's red, and it won't indicate a theft if you're hidden like this. So we'll use that a lot. Stuff that's sitting on tables and whatnot, you don't want to take that. So I'll show you right now. So we're gonna go in here in Feindal's house, and we'll steal what garlic he has. So as long as you're hidden here, you can break into his house, and you need lockpicking, of course. See if I can do it. There we go. Alright, so as long as you're hidden like this, you can just take these. Don't take things down here. That won't work. You'll get a fine, and you'll have guards problems. And we don't want to take anything else. We'll take this. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go head to Whiterun. I'll see you there. So let me show you one useful thing. It's always useful in the early game to carry a bow around. And the reason is because of wolves. And so if you stay at distance, they won't run away. Ah, crap. Alright, so you see how they... I screwed up and got too close. And so he ran at me. But now that he's hurt, he's going to run away if I get anywhere near him. So, but with a bow, you can just pick him off. And this keeps you from chasing him. So if you only have a melee weapon, you're never going to get him. You're going to be chasing him around for ages. And especially if you have, God forbid, you have a companion or a partner of some sort, a follower. They'll chase around for 30 minutes and just not a good thing. So use your bow to kill wolves if there's just one. If there's more than one, you generally maybe shoot the first one, then kill the second one, and I don't know, use your judgment. But I always carry a bow around early game. Okay, so we're here at Whiterun, and in Whiterun we're gonna. It's not going to be that exciting, but we're going to make friends with a lot of people, starting with Adriana here. And actually, we're going to make friends with her father, which is more important. But yeah, so there's maybe 4 or 5 people we're going to want to get friendly with, and they'll be very helpful throughout the game. There's some alchemy ingredients here and whatnot, so I'll show you which ones are important.
Yes.
Okay, so we're back. I've talked to the Jarl about the things going on in Riverwood and Helgen. When you talk to Farengar here about Bleak Falls Barrow, make sure you ask them, are you the only wizard in Whiterun? Because we want to get Arcadia's quest.
Good. You're clearly better suited than I
Then
am.
once you get that, you can take off.
Priority now. You know, if you've got the aptitude. Use the fight is dragging.
Yeah, so let's go turn in Adriana's quest.
Of course, y'all about.
And then we'll go back and talk to some more people. Alright, he's usually out here. This dramatic view.
I serve Jarl from Adrian. Ah, thank you. Please, take these few coins.
It's always good to pick up the bandit quest while you're here too. I don't always do it, but sometimes.
Here, take a look at this decree for details.
Sometimes I do. So good to have the quest in hand. Okay, so doing turning in the sword to Proventus gives you access to Dragon Reach, makes you friendly in here. So there's all the low-level items in Dragon Reach are now available. We'll pick them up later. Now I'm just going to go back into Whiterun and start talking to people. Okay, so the first person we're going to talk to is Carlotta, and we'll promise to beat up Michael for her, or just talk to him supposedly.
I don't think anything will get through that thick skull of his.
I'm walking slow because I have too much stuff. I grabbed too much lava. But we're gonna dump it in 1 second,
Once I've made enough
and we'll get her quest.
I met one of the caravan leaders, Madron.
And I don't know if I'm gonna propose to
About trading.
Isolde
Help you
or
in the future.
Uther, I forget her name, a lady in here. But getting married early is a big advantage. You get the lover's comfort bonus is like 25% over 10% for well rested for XP. So huge. So we'll definitely do that in a timely fashion.
You look rather.
So there's the frost salts.
Oh, but I suppose you expect some compensation.
Again, because I'm friendly with her, I can get all the low-level items in here, and also I can dump all this heavy stuff into this dresser. So I like to do all my alchemy here, at least in the beginning. And I'm going to hold on to the salt, but I'm going to pick up all her ingredients now as well. So I don't use most of these. I just pick them up to put them in one place. The potions are super useful in the beginning.
If there's anything I can help you with.
You won't have enough of that, and they'll bail you out.
My friend.
So like Blister Wart will make a healing potion, which is good stuff. And some of these we won't use white. I don't think we'll use white caps or whatever they are.
I offer remedies
there's some
for
money
ailments
down
both
here.
common and rare. Do let me know if I can be of service.
And there's this healing poultice, I don't know how to pronounce it, recipe, and you can read it, and then you can make those now. For this character, it's not going to be so important because we're going to get restoration pretty soon, and we'll have a healing aura. But for other characters that don't want to have spell casting,
To your heart's content.
or then that's a very useful formula to have. Okay, so let me dump these. Again, we'll hold on to the salt. So we're gonna make some stews. Okay, so let's head over to the Banner Mare. And so Hulda will become friendly if you give her some firewood. And so we'll make some firewood, and then we'll have access to the items again. And then we'll also have access to the upstairs bed where we can sleep for the rest of the game for free. So that's a pretty useful thing. So we'll go ahead and chop some wood.
Take a seat and get the... If it's work you need, honest gold for honest work.
All right, so we have to buy some things for her because we're going to make some stews. So the bottled water, I usually just buy it all. I think I have carrots. Always buy salt. We'll use that. And I have carrots. I will probably use some more carrots. I'm going to make two. So let's see, leeks, potatoes, everything else is good. Okay, you can sort of pick up cabbages when you go by farms and things like that. And then there's red apples here. They're usually in barrels too. There's beef, more garlic. So it's in this chest. Don't need any of that. The cheese balls are kind of good food, but they're heavy. So I prefer bread. When I just pick up, I think it isn't worth the bag space or whatever to pick up those. Get more potatoes. Checking for salt in these bags. Let's get some more cabbage. More cabbage. Nothing in that barrel. Bread. Venison. Leeks. Beef. More red apples, carrots. There's always salt in these barrels, in the fish barrels. Always worth checking. And okay, more carrots. All right, let's see what we can make. Let's get her away from it.
If it's work you're looking for?
Go away. All right, here we go. So we have enough for 2 venison stews because we only have 2 venison, and enough for 2 beef stews because we only have 2 beef. And then we can make a ton of apple cabbage stew, limited by our bottled water. And in the beginning, we'll just use apple cabbage stew because we'll just run around in short spurts, and this helps us from running out of mana or stamina. All right, so let's dump. Oh, oops, we want the bread. Potatoes. We'll save the beef stew and venison stew for when we do longer quests and so forth. Okay, the other part of being friendly is that in cupboards, like this one, there's always money. It's like from 150 to 250 septims, and just 230, so good amount. And I think there's 3 of these in here. But throughout the game, if you get friendly and you see one of these cupboards, then it's always worth opening it up and see what's in there. Because that was a quick 600 something gold, right? Let's go ahead and do
It's a lady you're looking for.
Carlotta's quest.
Didn't she? I'm sorry. What did you just say?
All right.
All I heard was a sound of. I don't have to take that from you. You're as good as dead. Come on, let's see what you're made of.
It's pretty easy to fight this guy. Doesn't have a lot of health. Doesn't hit very hard. Just go back and forth and dodge punches like this.
All you got.
So Britons and maybe Altmers and some other characters are going to have trouble with stamina in that fight, but still, if you do what I just did, you'll win.
On my honor,
No problem.
Carlotta won't have to worry about me ever again.
I don't want to fight her Uskard yet. She's much harder because she's wearing armor and she has a lot more health and can hit hard. So we'll put it off. But she's not using the same technique. You can still win, but she's just harder, and I don't need it right now.
Fruit and fresh veg? Really? I'd thank the gods, but I'll settle for thanking you. Here's some coin for your help.
Okay, now that she's friendly, we can take her garlic. Always worth it.
Come and see my splendor.
And there's some other items. We may pick those up later. Okay, I forgot to dump some other things. Okay, so I'm going to dump those things, and then I'm going to go join the companions. I'll meet you after I do the companion intro quest. Alright, so I just finished the companions
Looks like the others are
intro quest, or I'm finishing up. And we want to join the companions for multiple reasons. One is because we want a 2-handed trainer in Vocus that's easily available.
We've got trouble right here
And second of all, I guess there's a block trainer as well we'll use. Third, we want to become a werewolf. Or second, we want to become a werewolf. And that's an easy one. Quest. Sometimes you get horrible things like vampires or whatnot, but that'll be no problem. So we're going to want to become a vampire at some point, and then they have lots of items in here that we're going to grab. My usual rummaging through people's items. But it's an easy way to get a little boost in the beginning. Let's see, so you can take coin purses if you're hidden without getting a warrant put on you by the guards. So just make sure you're hidden, and you'll be fine. And there really isn't; those aren't a lot of money. The cupboard actually has much more money. But I like to grab those because they're just right there. Okay, we'll go out there and grab the money in the cupboards, and then we're going to go to Dragon's Reach and rummage through there. Okay. All right, so we're in Dragon's Reach, and let me turn some light on. What we're going to do in Dragon's Reach is that we're going to read books until we have read 75 books. And the reason we're going to do that is because the Blessing of Arche gives you an additional blessing besides the health bonus. It gives you a magic regen bonus if you read over 75 books. So that's extremely useful here in the early game. And so we'll just go around here reading books like this. I have a mod. Let me show you my mods. I don't think I've done that. Called Pick Up Books, and allows you to look at books before without having to put them in your inventory. I also have a block steal redo that we use from stealing stuff, and then just Requiem. So very, very few mods that affect gameplay. I have a lot of graphics mods just to make it look good. Okay, and so the other thing we'll be doing in here is going through the kitchen, getting garlic and whatnot, and then going through the cupboards for money. So just go around Dragon Reach and do those things, and it'll be good. Okay, I'll come back when I'm... Okay, so if you look at my general stats, you can see that I've read 77 books. So I'm over 75, which is what we need for that additional blessing. And I want to show you one more thing that I didn't mention. So Dragon's Reach has 4 quest books, and these books are available at other places. So here's the Ethereum one that starts the Ethereum quest, but there's also the Explorer one, Lost Legends, and Red Eagle are all here if you go through them all. So that's very convenient if you're interested in doing all those quests. You know where the books are. Okay, so by scrounging around the various places that I've showed you, I've got 2867 gold, which definitely is enough to start training. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go ahead and start with block.
I'm still trying
We want to get block to just 20. We don't have to go very far. And so we want to try to train all 5 levels every time at every level. So here, this is optimal. So we've leveled and we're ready to level again, so we can train again. And it's pretty cheap, and we'll probably get to 20. We will get to 20, no problem. So go and level up. And so for this character, we want to build Magicka until our white value, or the value without any bonuses, is at 150. So it'll be like level 15, level 16, maybe even, I haven't done the math recently, but it'll be around then before we switch to health, and then we'll go health the rest of the way. We'll get stamina through some other things, but we want to start with Magicka, and we want to get to 150 so we can get the Necromancer's Amulet. Requires 150 white health, so that means without any bonuses. Okay, so let's, but our first points we're going to put in, or I guess our 4th point is in alchemy, because we're going to start using that
if
to
the circle vouches for you, I'm
level.
I can. It might save your life.
And then we'll do another 5.
All right then.
See if we can go up another level. Oh, so you can't. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so for block, we're going to want to, once we get ready to put perks in it, there are 3 skills that we're interested in. The lower one, or the improved blocking, this experience blocking, and the strong grip. And with even with the 2-handed sword where we don't have a shield, we're going to use block to block like dragons, bites, and things like that. And that's all we're going to need. So once you get to 20, put those 3 perks in there, and then you'll be very good at blocking. And the rest of them aren't extremely useful. They're kind of fun to play with, but for just fundamentally not getting killed by a big dragon bite or a bear or something else, those 3 will do the trick. Okay. So we have a little extra time today. I'm going to empty my bags out here, and then I'm going to go pick up some alchemy ingredients outside Whiterun. Okay. Okay, I'm here just outside Whiterun, and I'm just going to run, because it's about to get dark. We don't want to run around after dark. There's just bad stuff, and you can't see anyway. But we want to pick up some lavender here, and there's some honeycomb over here that will be useful later on. We want to make real stamina potions. So there's just a few little things. I'm just going to go down to the fort, and not go near the fort, but in that direction, and just sort of stay near the road And there aren't any creatures here. You definitely don't want to go. There's a wolf over there, but sometimes there's a saber cat. Don't go anywhere near a saber cat if you want to live. And otherwise, just look for lavender or blue mountain flower. Usual set of ingredients. A tundra cotton is not bad either. But don't pick up too much of it. You'll probably use maybe 10 at most the whole game, unless you really have some specific needs. So don't go crazy. But there's a bunch here. Okay, so here's some blue mountain flower and some lavender, and I will. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a couple more evasion levels, and we'll go to be ready to level for the next one. Okay. Okay, so while running around picking up alchemy ingredients, I also opened a couple locks, and that allowed me to level 3, and so I can train again. Since I'm done training block, I'm going to train two-handed now, up to about level 35. I think it gets expensive at level 36, so we'll go there until it gets. So basically, the price will double. I mean, it always increases every level, but then it doubles at certain levels. So at 35, and then at 65 or 66, it doubles as well. But until then, it's still pretty cheap. So we're going to use our money to level two-handed because that's going to be our main offensive skill.
All right.
Once it gets there, then we'll have to choose another one, maybe evasion. That's when we'll start going to Windhelm, and there's a trainer there, or Riften. There's a trainer there as well. Since it's night, I'm going to go in the Bannermere and rest there for the evening, and then I'm going to go collect some more alchemy in the morning. And so I'll come back when I'm ready to do that. All right.